do it, right? Like, and that is also talks about the journey from monolith to the microservice. Now, how many of you heard about the monolith? I mean, a lot of people, you might be hearing this term, monolith design. What is this monolith design?
It's like all-in-one package. Means everything is taken care by a single application.
Okay. Okay. So monolith means a single unit. Okay. A single server, single machine that takes care of everything. And it also talks about the project we might be doing at 12th or 10th or our beginning of the college time, when we might be building our applications. We built everything in one machine or in one laptop or one server. We put everything at one place. So monolith means a single unit of particular application, right? So you get one machine, either your laptop, just assume, just I'm giving you a hypothetical example where, or laptop, or you take one HP UX or Linux based hardware you bought from the market machine, and you are installing your application here on this one or in this one, right? So what you did, you installed MySQL, you installed Tomcat, you needed cache, you installed cache also. Whatever you needed, you installed everything here. And from the outer world side, you are hitting that IP address or service, and you're getting the response. Absolutely, it is working like a charm, and then it works fine. This is the basic minimal thing anybody can do, right? So what happens is that with this is you have one Git repo, right? In that one Git repo, you have one project. Suppose our famous library management, right? And all the people who are working, collaborators, I mean developers, are checking in, checking out from this particular one. You have one Jenkins job for building the war file. You have one deployment, deploying to that particular node. Okay, you have one database to manage everything. Life is so simple, and it used to be very simple 20 years back or 30 years back, right? When everything was monolithic, there was no other concept. Okay, so that time the internet traffic was also used to be very less, right? And it used, so the benefit was that it was very easy to maintain, because you'll have one or two machines, you just installed all these things there, and you know, all the developers are checking out from there. And during that time, there was not Git also. There was something called Clearcase, and then Tortoise. There you used to check out the file. So if you check out the file, the other person cannot check in until unless that guy checks in, right? So the collaboration used to be very difficult. I mean, not like a Git that where you check out, check in, and then you do a conflict resolve and all that, which has been pretty easy these days now. So that was the life, right? In initial days where everything was there. And you might be talking, you might be hearing in your companies, organizations, that hey, let's migrate. And during the early 2010 to around 2020, I can say, now nobody does that, but during early 2010, most of the resources were getting utilized for migration project, and those migrations was nothing but monolith to microservice. I'll talk about microservice after some time, but the talk was only, or maybe I'm just giving a little late, it could be 2006 or 8 sometime. So monolith to microservice was the hot, which industry you join. Yeah, we need to migrate it. We need to, move from monolith to microservice. So what is that, right? What are the challenges comes with monolith? Things are pretty simple, right? I mean, you have one place, all the codes, one single machines. You don't need many DevOps teams. There was not even a DevOps concepts. So let me tell you, these DevOps concepts also has come in last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. There's nothing like a DevOps. There was nothing like a SRE, site reliability engineers, you might be doing PRE, product reliability engineering. There was nothing like these things. Okay, there was everything was developers, like you have to have that maintenance and all that, and people used to have the release management team and all that, right? So they used to maintain the build and install all these things on particular node, and they used to get those things done. So the monolith has certain challenges. The one challenge was that, of course, it was not scalable, right? So it was not scalable means, so you have one machine, okay, and let's talk about the scalability, right? So you have one machine of 4 GB RAM, 1 terabyte hard disk, and you're good, like you are serving 10 requests or 100 requests per second or something like that. You are able to serve it, and you are working fine with 30 to 40% of CPU utilization, okay, and core or something like that. Now, as traffic is increasing day by day, you went from 100 to 1 lakh per second request. What will happen? What will happen? What do you think would start happening here?
The server will be out of capacity and it cannot serve the requests.
Why it will happen? So what happens? Do you know how the translation happens? So once you hit the API, basically what happens internally is the Tomcat creates a thread, and that thread takes a memory. So as the number of requests increases, your RAM consumption, which was, like, suppose that time it was 30% or 80% getting used, now it is reaching almost 99%. Your hard disk also, suppose, I mean, the hard disk might not be used that much, but as you're not storing most of the details there. But yes, if your MySQL is also running on the same machine, your data might be keep storing, so your hard disk also approaching to 90%. Your CPU percentage is going 90% or 100%. So what you will do? What you will do to solve this problem? The immediate solution, what people used to do before, or what you will do? You will start doing the vertical scale. There is two types of scaling. One is called the vertical scaling, another is called the horizontal scaling. So horizontal scaling we'll talk about later. So we'll do, the people used to do the vertical scaling. So okay, fine, I'm not able to scale with this. I'll do one thing. I'll buy another hardware with 16 GB RAM, 10 terabyte hard disk, 8 core processor. Okay, now you are able to handle 1 lakh per second. That's absolutely fine. Now it became 10 lakh per second. Will you end up with the same problem? Right? So from 16 you went to 32. So till what you can go like this, right? This is a vertical and this is not a scalable, because there will be a certain limitations. There will be cost associated to it, because keep increasing the RAM and all, the cost of those RAMs, the higher core will be much higher than the lower core machines. So you will end up with that problem. One is the vertical. So you can't keep on going vertical. You can't keep going to 128 GB RAM. You can't keep going to 120 RAM and something. So you have to think about some other solutions, right? That is one thing. So this is one of the problem with the monolithic design. The other problem is single point of failure. We call SPF. Okay. So single point of failure means this is connected to a network. This is connected to power connection, right? And if power goes off, or if there is any problem with hardware gets corrupted, RAM gets corrupted, you are done. Your application is dead. Okay, nobody will be able to access this. So you are creating a single point of failure for that. Okay, so these are the challenges which is happening because of the this one. Third is you don't get to test your code at a smaller user footprint. So if you have only one machine, and if you want to suppose do certain validations, just by deploying on few of the instances and checking the status, you will not be able to do that because you don't have multiple machines. You have only one machines. So once you are done, it will start taking all the traffics and all the users will get impacted. So the way Facebook or Google rolls out the feature is they don't roll out the feature to everyone. So there is something called canary, CANARY. So you will talk about the canary model deployment. They do to a smaller footprint of the users. So they will target few users. That's why you might be seeing that when the Reels was launched, only few people used to get that option to view the Reels. Not only that, it was limited to certain versions, certain users, even the Facebook features also or WhatsApp features also, it gets rolled out in a phased manner. It will never be rolled out big bang. None of the big bang deployment happens very soon. So what we call the big bang deployment, nobody does at that scale as a big bang deployment. They do a smaller scale footprint and then they go about that. Okay, so that also is not feasible here. So these are the challenges which we face in the monolithic design. Okay, anybody wants to add any more points here? Monolithic design. So how do we solve this problem? With microservice. So a lot of questions being asked in this area, right? Have you worked in microservice oriented architecture? What are the things you have used in microservice oriented architectures? What are what are the technologies you have used? How you can achieve the microservice architecture? And what are the challenges it poses? A lot of people talk about the advantages, the benefits of using the microservices, but nobody talks. I mean, very less people you'll be seeing that there are certain challenges also comes with the microservices. And recently, if you are following the Elon Musk's tweet, he had tweeted that there are more than, I think, 1,000 or some numbers of microservices are running. And just for rendering the timeline of the Twitter, they had around 27 and 28 microservices, which he doesn't want. So what he was stating that there is an unnecessary abuse of using the microservice architecture there, that people are just unnecessarily made so many services separated, and that is causing much more delay. So we'll talk about both trades of microservices, but yes, it solves much more problem than it has challenges. Compared to it has the number of challenges, right? So it does definitely gives a lot of benefits in terms of the usability and also the horizontal scaling. So the horizontal scaling is the main part where the microservice oriented architecture becomes much more prominent and much more solid foundational architecture, right? So from the monolith to microservice, right? So what all things we can do? So we'll say that, okay, fine. If I need to design something, so what I'll be doing is, so this is our client, right? Whether be it app or the browser, and from this it will connect to the load balancer as we were speaking about. And the first thing is we will do is we will just have multiple server. So instead of, in terms of monolithic design, right, we had only one server of 4 GB RAM or something. Here we have 4 GB RAM of 3 machines. Now, and this will connect to the database. Now in the database also, you can have two types of database. We'll talk about again that in detail when we talk about the master slave architecture. So you can have one read, another will be write. So this read will go to read traffic, and the write will come here. Again, this write will come to the write, and this read will come to the read, and this write will come to the write. So you will have read and write, and both internally will have been replicated. We'll talk about that. There is something called the replication when we talk about the master slave architecture in databases concepts. We'll have a separate session on that. So let's focus here. Okay, so you have an app, you have a browser, and a lot of traffics are coming, and you have moved from monolith to microservice, And what you did is you have separated out the database. You said, okay, I'll just separate out the database from here. And what I will be doing here is I'll have a multiple running my application. So when I deploy my app, I'll not deploy on one node, but rather I'll deploy on multiple 3 nodes, right? Now it is serving the 10K traffic per second easily. Now after a certain time, it became 100K per second. Now suppose these 3 are not able to withstand the traffic. What I will do? What will I do in this case? Guys, is it like 2 boarding session, or how is it? Like you guys?
No.
No.
You'll add one more server to that.
Okay, fine. What we can do is we can just simply buy one more. You can procure one more server, right? And you can add to the ring. Configure the balancer that, okay, fine. And this will start serving traffic. This will initialize to the database. This will initialize to the database. Okay. Tomorrow you don't need. Again, your traffic came back from here to here. You remove this one. Okay. So before the cloud era, so we are going in a timeline series. Okay. So we went from monolith to microservice to the cloud era. Right now we are in cloud era. Okay, why cloud was needed, we'll talk about that after this point. Okay, so what we are talking about right now is MicroService. So what you did is you procure one, you submitted a request in your hardware machines, and I mean your hardware team, and then you got a new machine set up in your data warehouse, data centers, and then